I don't know if you know this, but I'm bald. That's it. I'm balding. Last video, I barely scratched the surface on the Bible, on how many Bible translations there are, English Bible translations. I gave you 8 out of 70. Today I'm going to add 4 more to that list. I've got my trusty tablet today. So the Great Bible was made in 1539, commissioned by King Henry VIII for the purpose of having a Bible made and ready specifically for the Church of England. It was made by a man named Miles Cloverdale. Cloverdale ended up making his own Bible translation called the Cloverdale Bible. The English Bible has such a rich history. A lot of death, a lot of running away and running to places where they could publish an English translation. So a lot of these people, some of them died, and some other of these people ran to Germany to be able to publish these translations. Miles Cloverdale ended up making his own translation called the Cloverdale Bible. Cloverdale Bible was produced on October 4th, 1535. So there was a Antwerp merchant, which is Antwerp is a city in Germany. His name was Jacob van Meteren. I don't even know if I pronounced it right. Meteren. Meteren, my bad. He was a merchant that hired Miles Cloverdale to basically write this translation, the Cloverdale Bible. His version of the Bible, Cloverdale's Bible, was banned, and it was considered not even scholarly. And I think the reason for that is because he didn't use like original text, revised other German text, and called it like a new translation. It wasn't scholarly. So the third Bible, which you've probably heard of these. Now I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get something for you. So check this out. There were 2 Geneva Bibles that were published, 1560, 1599. Check out what I have. I have a big old Geneva Bible. 2 of them. It is huge, dog. These can go on like a giant shelf. They're huge. In my hands is the original Bible for the most part. So you have the 1560 edition and the 1599. This is not the 99. This is not, but you know, this is what you would have. What's the difference between the 1560 and the 1599? So the 1599 version was a revision that's considered a little more accurate than the 1560, and it used different manuscripts, I think. 1599 edition excluded the Apocrypha, which was in the 1560. What is the Apocrypha? The non-canon biblical text. So the 1599 version excludes the Apocrypha. Cloverdale, which Miles Cloverdale, again, rich history, participated in another translation, which is the Geneva Bible. This Bible was taken to America on the Mayflower. We know the Mayflower, the ship that the Pilgrims came on when sailing to the New World. So we know that ship. Apparently, the Geneva Bible and a couple others were on the Mayflower. The Geneva Bible New Testament was published in 1557. So this is 3 years before the complete publishing date. The Bible revised Tyndale's New Testament and used Greek and Hebrew text. So essentially, they went to the original manuscripts and then they revised Tyndale's work. So Tyndale, I think he knew Miles Cloverdale. So we heard about him. Gruesome Fate of William Tyndale. Go watch that video. 800 scholars were shoved away and fled to Geneva, Switzerland to make this Bible. None other than Bloody Mary, Queen Mary the First of England and Ireland. Queen Mary the First. Bloody Mary. That's she drove them out and they went to somewhere else to go make that Bible. The Bible is regarded as the first study Bible. So back at that time, that was probably the first study Bible for that time. This translation was led by William Whittingham, and the Geneva Bible 1599 is intentional because they were trying to get around a ban. So they said 1599 Geneva Bible. So they used that title to like escape the ban. The Bible, oh yeah, this is funny. The Bible is referred to as the Breeches Bible because if you go, let's actually take a look. So if you go in the original text, let's look at this. Here, I have an old beat up New American Standard Bible. We know this to be the most accurate Bible out there. So if I look through the text, and I'll show you why this is called the Breeches Bible. We want to go to Adam and Eve. We want to go find that. Genesis 3 verse 7. Then the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loin coverings. Now, I'll show you. Like right there. In the NASB, it says loin coverings, right? But look at what it says in the Geneva Bible. I'm going to the same verse, and look at this, by the way. That's crazy. So let's look at this. It's in like Old English too. Like it says like God had made, and he said to the woman, but said with like an F. So drawn like an F as you would back in the day. Thou shalt not eat of the curry tree. I don't know what that's trying to say. Dude, the writing's so weird. It says like Curie. E-R-I-E. Man, that's so weird, isn't it? I never knew that on this channel I'd be holding one of the original Bibles trying to read Old English. But of the fruit of the tree, which I know, I'm like way off. I'm talking about the beginning. It says chapter 3 in Roman numerals. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewn fig leaves together and made themselves breeches. Which is why this is called the Breeches Bible, because in this Bible it says loin coverings. Some Bibles say aprons or waist coverings, but in this one it says breeches. Yeah, so that's it for the Geneva Bible. Let's move on to the next one, the Matthew's Bible. Now, this Bible was made by a man named John Rogers. Why is it called the Matthew's Bible? It was assisted by William Tyndale and Miles Cloverdale, published under the pseudonym Thomas Matthew in 1537. Who's Thomas Matthew? Thomas Matthew is a name that William Tyndale would use. His name was very controversial at that time. This Bible serves as the base of the King James Version, and it includes the Apocrypha. And so when John Rogers was trying to publish this, he specifically used the pseudonym Matthew, so Matthew's Bible, Thomas Matthews. And the reason why was because he didn't want William Tyndale's name to be tied to that, because people would be like, oh, William Tyndale, how he died, and they would see how he died, and they just probably won't get the Bible. So he went under the name, the Matthew's Bible. So I don't know if he went under a complete pseudonym, Thomas Matthews, but I know he called it the Matthew's Bible for that very reason. What I'm going to lead in the next video is the New Matthew's Bible and where that came from. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all have a good day. See ya.